A week after a shocking return and attack on Trish Stratus, Becky Lynch took to the Raw stage in response to her new nemesis and WWE Hall of Famer. The man's address to the fans was one headlining segment of tonight's show, which saw Cody Rhodes' reaction to the brutal beatdown suffered at the hands of Brock Lesnar and a battle royale to determine the number one contender to Gunther's Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Relive all of the action from the historic Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, with this recap of Monday Night Raw. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF, Michael Fletcher, and the phenom, Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats as always. And got a big show for you here tonight, friends. We got Monday Night Raw coming up. We'll also have my Tony's take. And then in the main event, it'll be, let's just say, a very fun Celtics chat, to say the very least. And not much more to say on that. So, gentlemen, let's dive right on in. Monday Night Raw, the penultimate Monday Night Raw before the Night of Champions. Live tonight from the legendary Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. ACC basketball country, the heart of it. The arena that housed the very first Starrcade in 1983 and has hosted many pay-per-view events, as well as episodes of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown over the many, many years. And this was no exception. And we started it off with an in-ring segment. The undisputed tag team champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they cut a promo, and they were interrupted by the Judgment Day. And it led into tonight's main event being made, as it would be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming up against Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Oh, what a tag team main event we have here. All right. The passion and frustration exhibited by Owens and Zayn was reflective of two men fed up with the same old song and dance. They have combated the heels so frequently over the last 5 months that they want to finish this particular chapter of the story, and will hopefully be able to do that at Night of Champions by way of a successful title defense over Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Letting their emotions get the best of them and taking on a fight with Judgment Day may not be the best way to preserve energy and health, though. And Sami said he has cheated his way through an entire title reign, and now, Roman, we are going to check you. And then Sami went off on Roman, saying, Roman, you psycho, you manipulator, you want these championships, you can't have them. Passionately lashing out at his primary tormentor over the last 12 months. KO said, I'm so happy you guys are out here because I'm so sick of talking about the bloodline. And almost gleeful that the Judgment Day interrupted the proceedings. Finn Balor said the line starts here, stating the faction's claim to a tag team title opportunity. And then Sami egged on the crowd and they're booing at Dominic. Owens responded, I can't hear anything he's saying. Can I just punch him in the face already? And a brawl ensued, and the heels stood tall, albeit chased from the ring by a chair-toting Sami Zayn. So a very good segment to start this the show off here tonight. And MF, what a segment to start it off, and it sets up a big main event. KO and Sami against Finn Balor and Damian Priest.
Wow. Yeah, something out of right field, but this is that beauty that you get, especially on Monday Night Raw and everything else. And, you know, take it for what it's worth. It was definitely a good story, definitely a great way to start the show. And could it have been better? Yeah, definitely. But the thing is, it was enjoyable. And the fans ate it up. I ate it up. And the one thing is, Dom is without a doubt one of the best heels in WWE right now. I mean, his maturation from becoming the heel to where he is now is like night and day. And he can't do anything wrong right now. That's the dream that you want to have, and it's delivering and then some. So, no, solid opener, and nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this was definitely a good solid promo here to set up tonight's main event. And basically, like you said, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are sick and tired of this whole bloodline thing. They want to finish it, and hopefully they get to do it at Night of Champions and put away Roman and Solo Sikoa. while of course they had to deal with the Judgment Day. But yeah, Dom, right? I mean, he is the best heel right now in WWE. I mean, the way the crowd just basically is. It's almost like you can't even hear a word what anybody is saying with the way they're literally going after him. So, yeah, definitely a good way to start it off. So, there's really nothing more to say. So, let's move on, Florio.
First match of the night, Shinsuke Nakamura squaring off against The Miz, and Shinsuke Nakamura wins the match in roughly 9 minutes. Shinsuke Nakamura certainly feels like a bigger deal now than he has in recent years, but one cannot help but think that there were better ways to introduce him to the Raw audience than by way of a feud with a relatively ice-cold Miz.
Yeah, but the thing is that, you got to take your battles. You just can't just say, oh, they could have done this, they could have done that, everything else. Look, other than the fans on SmackDown, they know who Nakamura is. Outside of the IWC, they know who Shinsuke Nakamura is. Look, you gotta work your magic. You gotta give us a little something out there. And this is why I'm happy it's Triple H running it. Because of the fact that he knows what Nakamura can bring. Look at what he did in NXT. He made him a star coming out of Japan, and the star never faded. Now, you could say maybe it was injuries, maybe it was booking, whatever you want to say. Yeah, it did take a little bit of a step back. Now they're reintroducing him, bringing him back to why he was one of the biggest names. So for me, I'm cool with it. So nah, they did fine. So nothing more to say. Solid. This was about a 2.5-star match, and Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it 2.5 stars. I mean, it definitely could have been better, but I thought it was good for what it was. But yeah, I mean, people they know who Shinsuke Nakamura is. I know, I know the Miz is not the sexiest pick to start off the feud on Raw, but it has to be somebody, and I think it's a good way to put over Shinsuke Nakamura on Raw. I mean, would I prefer somebody other than The Miz? Yes, but you gotta introduce them to the Monday Night Raw crowd after all those times on SmackDown. So, yeah, so 2.5 stars. It's yours, Florio.
It was not an insult intended for the Hollywood A-lister, but more so for the creative team that has allowed the long tenured competitor, to become, a little on the ice cold side. But nonetheless, Shin gets the win here, surviving a cheap eye rake and a skull crushing finale to deliver the Kinshasa and keep the momentum on his side. But the definitive nature of the win begs the question, where does the artist go from here? If WWE hopes to avoid a scenario similar to the issues that faced his booking at different points throughout Nakamura's career, one can only hope Triple H already has a vision. Otherwise, this will feel a lot like a been there, done that non-push sooner rather than later. That's my only concern. But as I said, Miz raked the eyes of his opponent and delivered his trademark finisher, only for Nakamura to get one of his long legs over the bottom rope and break up the pinfall. So 2.5, 2 3/4. That's the best I can do for this. And then there was a backstage moment with Adam Pearce revealing to Raquel Rodriguez, Chelsea Green, and Sonya Deville that the scheduled women's tag team title match was off due to an injury suffered by Liv Morgan. And it sets up a one-on-one match with Raquel and Chelsea later in the night. So let's definitely want to address that elephant in the room there.
Well, there is just one thing I can confirm. It was an arm injury. And it is a legit injury, by the way, folks. So before anybody says, oh, it's storyline, no, it's a legit injury. She actually suffered the injury during the match on Friday night. And yeah, so it's not serious. So that's why it's not a serious injury, but it's an injury nonetheless that had to sideline Liv She's not requiring surgery. She just has to. They are rehabbing it, so hopefully she'll be back next week. They're just doing it as a precaution.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Appreciate you letting us know about that, MF. So let's continue on here. Then there was a pre-taped sit-down interview with Corey Graves and Seth freaking Rollins. There'll be more on that next week. And then we had the Battle Royale to determine the number one contender for Gunther and the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at the Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. The entrants included, in no particular order, Baron Corbin, Zion Quinn, Von Wagner, Akira Tozawa, JD McDonough, Dexter Lumis, Alpha Academy, Los Lotharios, Dolph Ziggler, the Viking Raiders, Matt Riddle, Apollo Crews, Ricochet, Bronson Reed, Elias, Sheldon Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, Johnny Gargano, and Riddick Moss. When all was said and done, the winner of the Battle Royale in 12 minutes and 35 seconds, Mustafa Ali. Whoa. Michael Bullock, I mean, we talked about this during our Raw chat. I mean, what did we talk about? We threw out that one word we don't really see in WWE nowadays, but we got it here tonight. Unpredictability. That's it. Unpredictability. So with that, Michael Bullock, you started off here. Mustafa Ali, 12 minutes and 35 seconds, wins the Battle Royale. Biggest win of his singles career, but could it lead to an even bigger win in Saudi Arabia?
And as you said before, Florio, these battle royals are just tough to rate when it comes to this. But after the unpredictability of this, I mean, I'm going to give this about maybe 3.25 to 3.5. I mean, we were all thinking maybe Bronson Reed was going to be the one to win this, but no, Mustafa Ali. I think he was the last person that we could have predicted to win this. So good for Mustafa Ali, but could it lead to a bigger thing come Night of Champions? Probably not, but I know he'll probably give Gunther all that he can handle. So nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
Yeah. Surprise outcome indeed. A story-heavy match started with Riddle taunting Imperium at ringside and succumbing to interference from Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser, before concluding with Ali paying off his months-long journey to positivity by earning his shot at Gunther's Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship on May 27th as part of Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. There was a lot to love about this Battle Royal, including the manner in which Triple H and the creative team utilized it to introduce and further storylines. From the genesis of JD McDonough versus Dolph Ziggler to the start of the Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders, the match utilized the overarching framework to set the stage for the matches and feuds that will define the Red brand in the coming weeks. That is smart booking and a clever way to do so without force-feeding the audience too much in too many segments. JD McDonough brutalized Dolph Ziggler, reportedly slamming him face first into the ring step, or repeatedly slamming him face first into the ring steps and sending off a rivalry between them that should result in at least one damn good match. An exchange between the Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders ended with both teams eliminated and the Red Brand tag division with a new rivalry to build on. Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci tripped up Matt Riddle, allowing Bronson Reed to eliminate him, and with Ricochet hoisted on the shoulders of Bronson Reed, Mustafa Ali delivered a big missile dropkick that sent both superstars to the floor and earned the biggest win of Mustafa Ali's career to this point. 3.25 to 3.5 stars, sleeper fight of the night. I'll probably call this maybe the second best fight of the night, honestly. Unpredictability, some good action in this one. Yes, Bullock is absolutely right. Battle Royals are always tough to call, always tough to rate, but this is one of the rare ones that was actually on the easier side. This was about 3.25, maybe 3.5 for this one. So there isn't much more to say. MF, Mustafa Ali, biggest win of his career at this point. Now he's going to be in for the fight of his life come Saudi Arabia as he looks to do the unthinkable and dethrone Gunther but the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, a lot easier said than done.
A lot easier said than done, and the odds of that possibly happening is going to be very slim. Look, you got to give credit where credit's due. They did everything that they could have done just to get it to that point, and to do what they did was very impressive. And, you got to give a lot of love and a lot of credit to the guys, and they did exactly what it needed it to be done. So props to WWE, and not only that, but to establish all these new rivalries, all these new storylines that normally we wouldn't get in this kind of a battle royale. So they really set it up a lot of content for maybe the next month or so. And if you think about it, this is brilliant strategy by WWE. So no, this was a thing of beauty, and nothing more to say. Like you said, a solid 2.5 to 3. Anthony, back to you.
All right. So with that, we move on. And then we got Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch comes out. She cuts a promo on Trish Stratus. And she pulls the trigger. She pulled the trigger. We thought we were initially gonna get this match at SummerSlam. No, boys. Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus is going to happen at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. Whoa. Okay. And I'll give credit to Michael Bullock on this one because he thinks there's something bigger down the pipeline here. He's thinking possibly Becky Lynch could possibly go after Rhea Ripley and maybe the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. That's a very realistic possibility if they're pulling the trigger on this now. Wow. Where do I start here? The man warned Trish of what she had done by betraying her before revealing that the biggest star of this generation will square off with the top women's wrestler of the golden era in WWE at Night of Champions. It is a huge match, and it is almost disappointing that there is not more time to build toward it. Trish as the antagonizing heel who pokes and prods, further infuriating Becky Lynch before attempting to turn her emotions against the man, is a story that writes itself. As it stands, the dream match will take place on a relatively huge stage in Jeddah. Hopefully, it's just the start of the program because this feels like a story that can generate months of television before a pay-per-view worthy blow-off. Still, this was Becky Lynch's best promo in a long time, and it feels like a return to form for a woman who was once the most attitudinal character in the company and the people's choice for top star in WWE. Becky told the story of being overwhelmed and in need of help, so she reached out to Lita and Trish, only to be betrayed by Trish, quote unquote, like the backstabbing snake that she is. Becky also said, "I have done it. Bennett, don't need a championship to prove it. I will show you how thankful I am when I kick your head in at Night of Champions." And then you saw Rhea Ripley in the back watching Becky Lynch leave the arena in a bit of subtle hinting at an eventual showdown between the two of them before issuing a few words of warning to who we presume will be her first challenger, and that's Natalya. So, well, her next challenger, rather, because Zelina was her first challenger. So, but yeah, another good segment here. I would say second best segment here. MF, Becky and Trish in Saudi Arabia, not at SummerSlam. Wow.
Yeah, no, this caught everybody by surprise because we all were expecting it. But hey, good for us. That's even better. Give us that fight now. Let's get it going. There was a rumor about something. I'd rather not tip my hand here. I'll wait for another time. But I heard something. Not from a dirt sheet, but just a theory. And if it happens, yeah, this Trish thing, the battle between Becky and Trish will not be over. Not by a long shot. But we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I can't wait for Night of Champions. They just added a whole new element to the show. and this is going to be an amazing fight. Trish versus Trish versus Becky is a WrestleMania main event or a main event of any match of the big four. But to get it in Saudi Arabia on that event is a big, massive coup and a big deal. So, no, nothing more to say. Bullock is yours.
Oh, by the way, contract signing for that next week. And what does that mean there, Mr. JBL?
It ain't gonna end well. And yeah, I mean, some of us, like you said, we're surprised that we're actually gonna get this at Night of Champions. But all in all, I mean, this was a really good promo. I mean, basically Becky calling out Trish and basically thanking her for making her realize who she was, and basically, I mean, yeah, this is going to be something when it comes to this. But the thing is, I mean, like I said, after this segment, and they showed Rhea Ripley, it made me realize, wonder if they're saving for something even bigger. Like I said, with maybe not Trish, Becky and Rhea at SummerSlam. It's possible, but we'll see what happens with this. So, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
All right, let's continue on here. Then we had a return match from last week. Dominic Mysterio versus Xavier Woods. And Dominic Mysterio wins the match again, 10 minutes and 35 seconds. MF, another solid match from these two.
Yeah, another solid match, another big win for Dominic Mysterio, and he's just continuing that body of work, man. There's really nothing more to say here. So, could have been better, yeah, but at the end of the day, they did what they needed it to do. So, well done. Nice matchup, nice win. Nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours. I'll give it about 2.5 stars.
2.5. 2.5 for the effort here. I mean, it definitely could have been better, but I mean, a nice win for Dominic. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Dominic Mysterio and Xavier Woods wrote the latest chapter in their young rivalry tonight, with the hated heel making it 2-0 against the future Hall of Famer thanks to some well-timed interference from Rhea Ripley. Dominic scored the win, continuing what has been a very eventful night for the Judgment Day, which set up the main event for Finn Balor and Damian Priest by way of an earlier promo segment, and saw Rhea Ripley intensify her rivalry with Natalya by threatening to retire the third-generation star. Dom winning here continues his red-hot run as one of the most detested villains in all of WWE, and served as further evidence that the faction itself is as valuable to the company apart as it is united. Mysterio is building momentum as a single star, and there really is no one equipped to help him from a learning perspective, not to mention in garnering even more heat than the perpetually over Xavier Woods. It's been a fun little side program for both men, and if there are no immediate plans elsewhere, it's hardly an ineffective use of them. Xavier Woods teased, "I don't have anyone watching my back yet," teasing potential returns of Kofi Kingston and or Big E. Xavier and Rhea Ripley came face-to-face entering the break, the latter essentially daring the babyface to do something about her interference. Mysterio delivered the three amigos, drawing a thunderous chorus of boos along the way. And then Rhea Ripley got in a cheap shot on Woods, leading to Dominic scoring the tainted win. Give it about 3, maybe 3.25 at best. So with that, we move on. Then we had the Raw debut of Indusher, Veer Mahan, and Sangha against a couple of Hammernager jabronis. You already know what happens here. Veer Mahan, Sangha winning the match, 1:50, absolute dud. We're not even gonna dignify that. Delicious squash. That's it. Then we had Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, and and he cuts a promo, a short and sweet promo on Brock Lesnar and Michael Bullock, like you said during our Raw chat tonight. You said it, short, sweet, and to the point. But Cody Rhodes continues to be another great continues to be a damn good promo each and every week. So, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I thought it was a solid promo by Cody Rhodes, basically continuing to say what he thinks about Brock Lesnar, and saying that this time, I mean, he's not going to get a cheap win here, and that he's gonna beat Brock Lesnar. So, yeah, I mean, short and sweet and to the point. I enjoyed it, so it's yours, Florio.
Yes, indeed. I asked the question, gentlemen, is Cody Rhodes the best promo in wrestling right now? It is a valid question, particularly when he can show up, drop a few bars, and leave fans as excited for an upcoming match as any layered storyline. The American Nightmare did just that tonight, cutting a promo on Brock Lesnar, accepting his challenge for a fight at Night of Champions, and wrapping things up by admitting that the Beast's biggest transgression is simply that he is in Cody's way. This was short, sweet, and to the point. More importantly, it was passionate and easy for fans to invest it. Rhodes wants revenge, and above all else, he needs to get past Lesnar to get back to finishing his story. If he could take a jab at Lesnar's ego by refuting the idea of the former world champion as a quote-unquote big thing and relegating him to the role of a hurdle to overcome, even better. Another fire promo from someone who is as captivating a speaker as there is in the industry today. Cody recalled the story of the scorpion and the frog, with the purpose being that it was always in the scorpion's nature to sting the frog, whether he initially intended to or not. He said it is Brock Lesnar's nature to hunt. He delivered a cheap shot asking the hunter how his face is after he bloodied him at Backlash. And he said, at Backlash, Brock Lesnar was not better than me. And Cody said, you are simply in my way. And he said that with a very literal mic drop. What else is there to say? Another one of the segments of the night. MF, again I ask, is Cody Rhodes the best promo in wrestling right now? I say yes, he is right now.
Oh, there's no debate. There's no debate he's one of the best, if not the best. You even said it yourself. I mean, there's really nothing else that Cody can't do. He's that damn good. Thoroughly impressed with everything he does. He's absolutely one of the best in the game. I'm a big fan of Cody Rhodes, always been a big fan of his, and he continues to deliver week in, week out. Doesn't matter what he does. It's always been amazing. Yeah, there's really nothing more to add. It's just that good. So, yeah, great promo and nothing more to say. So, yeah. Anthony, back to you.
All righty. Let me see here. One moment. All right. Then we had the match with Raquel Rodriguez squaring off against Chelsea Green. Raquel Rodriguez wins the match, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Meh match, ho-hum diva fight, but we had a development afterwards. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, they come out and they beat and they go to town on Raquel Rodriguez. And I mean, Raquel may have overcome the numbers disadvantage that existed around ringside when she defeated Chelsea Green despite Sonya Deville's presence. But without Liv Morgan backing her up, she ultimately succumbed to a sneak attack by the returning Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. The angle had to have been foreseen, especially given the heels' victory in that WrestleMania Showcase match. In that bout, Rousey and Baszler defeated 3 other teams, including the current tag team champions, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. They are next in line, and with or without Morgan available to her, Rodriguez is fixing to experience the same frustrating outcome she has every time she has shared the ring with the baddest woman on the planet. So that's really all there is to say on that. So another on that one. Then we had more of the sit-down interview with with Corey Graves and Seth Rollins. Good stuff and the sort of thing we should see more of from WWE's fantastic production staff. A well-produced video package that, if nothing else, served as a change of pace from the usual booking trends heading into a championship match, the magnitude of the Night of Champions main event. No in-ring promo or tired call-out, no ill will shown from Rollins to Styles, with whom he has limited baggage with. A candid look at one of the competitors in a high-stakes main event, and if all goes according to plan, the superstar around whom Monday Night Raw is figuring to be booked for the foreseeable future. So we'll leave it at that. Next week for Monday Night Raw at the Giant Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania, the go-home show for Night of Champions. Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes in the same building. Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus contract signing for their Night of Champions match. And then Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and a mystery partner to take on all three members of Imperium. And we'll also be seeing Zoe Stark go up against Candice LeRae. Main event of the evening, the undisputed tag team champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn squaring off against Damian Priest and Finn Balor in the non-title matchup. And Damian Priest and Finn Balor win the match in an even 21 minutes. I think I actually start this one off. So there isn't anything left to say, gentlemen. This was the fight of the night. I'm going to give this between 4 and 4.25 stars. And I don't know what else there is to say, except I think we got ourselves a championship committee moment here, boys. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about that. The walls are closing in on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. If he did not gather as much from the booking and influences from Judgment Day, the Bloodline, and Imperium all conspired to lead to their demise. The match, a damn fun one that featured 4 of the better workers on the Raw roster, provided the action demanded of a main event in today's landscape while creating the impression that the threats to the undisputed tag team champions may be too many to overcome. The booking is great in that it emphasizes the tag team division while keeping Zayn and Owens as centerpieces of the brand. They're at the heart of the main event program, which just so happens to feature the tag team championships, something that has rarely been a norm on WWE television. Much of that can be chalked up to the undeniable popularity of the champions, not to mention the strength of their work in every aspect of their performances. Booking the Judgment Day, the Bloodline, and Imperium as threats also highlights the renaissance of factions in wrestling, another hallmark of Papa H's booking right now. KO exploded into the ring off the hot tag, bringing some energy to the crowd. Mysterio and Ripley interjected themselves in the action, but were booted from ringside, much to the delight of the audience. Xavier Woods attacked Rey Mysterio, fighting into the back and ensuring he would not further involve himself in the match. Paul Heyman made his way into the arena, hoping to get a closer look at the potential downfall of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as they remain a problem for the Bloodline. Imperium joined them there a few minutes later, and then Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser distracted the referee, allowing Gunther to hold Sami's foot. Finn Balor rocked Sami with a shotgun dropkick and added the coup de grace for the win. So, very good match here. 4 to 4.25 stars. Fight of the night. 21 minutes. We don't hear that number often on television, but we'll damn sure take it on this. So there's not much more to say. MF, those two legendary words, championship committee moment.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you really think about it, at the grand scheme of things, you not got one challenger. You don't have 2 challengers. You got 3 possible challengers. Think about it. Roman and Solo at Night of Champions. Now more than ever, Sami and Owens are going over. Because after that, you got Judgment Day and Imperium. Sami and Kevin are going to be a little busy for the summer, in my opinion. So, I mean, you could have them as champions going into the fall, and then eventually they'll lose the belts. But right now, you can't dump this. There's no way you can get rid of this storyline. And there's so many teams, especially on Raw, right out of the gate. You got 2 tag teams going after those tag team titles. So for me, this is a very interesting situation on their hands. So 4 stars, fight of the night, but now more than ever, Sammy and Kevin deserves to be the tag team champions, and they're gonna have a lot of challengers coming up. So nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 4 stars, definitely the fight of the night. I mean, yeah, I mean, you basically said it. I mean, now they got a lot of challengers. I mean, especially after they go through Roman and Solo at Night of Champions. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say on it. So let's get into our overall thoughts on this show.
And Girl MF Michael Fletcher starts it off. MF, Monday Night Raw, live from an arena that you hold near and dear to your heart, the Greensboro Coliseum, the heart of ACC basketball country. How do we do tonight?
You did pretty well. I'll say it 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was an excellent show. I thought it was very free flowing. There was a couple of moments where it's like, all right, I mean, it could have been better in certain areas, but it was still solid enough. It wasn't bad at all. So I thought it was an enjoyable show. It was a very good 3-hour show, and on top of that, you have a lot of storylines to build on. Not only in the tag team division, and there's a lot of good singles matches coming up down the pipeline too. So WWE really did a good night. So this was very good. So nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this about a 7.5 as well. I mean, yeah, there were a couple of things I could have done without them. I mean, the short matches, but everything else that I definitely enjoyed. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Triple H and his creative team continue to lay the foundation for the foreseeable future of WWE programming with this episode of Raw tonight. The bigger takeaways, including the sudden influx of competition for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's undisputed tag team championships, the ongoing rivalry between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, and the build to Night of Champions. Under that, there was the introduction of storylines by way of the mid-show Battle Royale and the use of video packages to help explain to viewers who NXT stars like JD McDonough are. It will be interesting to see how Triple H responds to Raw after Night of Champions, where he will have slightly longer to implement the stars and stories he wants to focus on, without having to rush together a card for a pay-per-view. Until then, enjoy the freshness that has suddenly permeated this show, as the chief content officer appears poised to shape the show more in his vision than he had the opportunity to while building toward WrestleMania earlier this year. Solid action, storyline-heavy matches and segments and the idea of an increased role for the tag titles as one of the top prizes on Mondays makes us an easy thumbs up, even if 3 hours continues to provide headaches for both the company and its viewers. 7.5, I 100% agree. So quickly, we'll get into my Tony's take, and then we'll get into the Celtics chat to close it out here tonight. You know how we do it as always. Started off with Impact Wrestling. And then, of course, NXT Level Up. So we start with Impact Wrestling here. First match of the night, Masha Slamovich versus Killer Kelly. Masha Slamovich, 8 minutes and 42 seconds. 2.5, 2 3/4. Good stuff here. Kelly continues to impress. Slamovich needed the win more here, though. She's fallen mostly through the floor in recent months. The talent's there. But at some point, you have to win something. The same is true for Kelly, though she has never had the big opportunities that Slamovich has already earned. Nice opener there and a change of pace from the usual fast-paced starts to the show. Nick Aldis makes his return to Impact Wrestling, his first match back. He went up against Sheldon Jean. Nick Aldis wins in 3.5 minutes. 2 stars. Jean is decent enough to be one of the new designated jobbers whose name we know, though that might not have the longest shelf life. It was, of course, all about Aldis, though, who looked fine in his return. That being said, at some point, he's going to have to show that he can be more interesting, and that has been an issue for him for years. Decay against the Good Hands. Let me see. Good Hands wins the match. 5 minutes, 9 seconds, 2.5. Kind of a slow match, but Brian Myers hooking up with the Good Hands is a better move than having them work for Bully Ray. So they did something smart. Decay losing is a little weird, but it's a fine enough way to establish the new unit. the good hands are, well, good hands, so there should be a place for them for a while. World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Steve Macklin defending the title against Rhino. Winner of the match in an even 9 minutes, and still the World Heavyweight Champion. It is Steve Macklin. About 3 stars. It was a bit of a slow match, but Macklin gets a nice defense under his belt before he has to move on to PCO at Under Siege. Working on the leg was a good enough way to keep the bout going, and Macklin using the gore was an even better touch. Macklin might not be the most interesting champion, but he had a perfectly fine first title defense here. Dirty Dango against Johnny Swinger. Dirty Dango in 116. Absolute dud. Worst fight of the night. We're not going to waste any time on that. Main event. The Coven. Kylan King and Taylor Wilde defend the Knockouts tag team titles against Deonna Purrazzo and Jordan Grace. Winners of the match in 14 and a half minutes, and still the tag team champions. It is the Coven. Fight of the night here, 3.5 stars. The extra time helped here, and the Coven continues to grow into a more respectable team. They already feel like the best team in Impact, but given the rather shallow competition, that still leaves them with a lot to cover. For now, though, beating 2 single stars and keeping the Knockouts title feud going is a good use of 15 minutes in the main event. Trinity comes out after because the Coven went after Jordan Grace. Trinity made the save, and that was that. 7.5 out of 10. This is the show that I like. Bunch of stuff they wanted to cover and then did just that. Nice to see them have an efficiently run show like this one, which had enough good wrestling to keep us invested and nothing bad to hold it down. Nice work last week, and that's always good to see. So 7.5 out of 10 for that one. Let me just quickly set the table for this upcoming week's show, and then we'll get into the level up there. All right. Trinity. Naomi is going to have her first match in Impact Wrestling. She's going to square off against Kylan King of the Coven. Trey Miguel, the X Division champion, will square off against Laredo Kid in a non-title match. And then Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Frankie Kazarian against Alex Shelley, Jonathan Gresham, and Yuya Uemura in a 6-man tag. That's what's on the table for Thursday night, 8 p.m. Access TV, 8:30 p.m. for all of you here on YouTube with the Impact Wrestling membership. And then at 10 p.m., it uploads to Impact Plus once the show is over. So that is that. So let's quickly now get into NXT Level Up, and then we'll get to the Celtics chat. I know Bullish chomping at the bits. So, all right. Started off with Dante Chen versus Tavion Heights. Dante Chen wins in 4:42. It was all right, though. A little rough in spots. Picked things up a bit before going home. 1 star. Wendy Chu against Kaylani Jordan. Wendy Chu in 5 minutes and 18 seconds. It was all right, and Jordan showed off her athleticism. I appreciate that Chu's gimmick has been toned down as far as the comedic nature of her sleeping during the match. 1.25 stars. And then Malik Blade and Idris Anafi against Lucien Price and Bronco Nima. Blade and Anafi in 7 minutes. Standard tag match that hit all the time-tested beats. It was speed versus power, and in the end, Blade and Anafi get another tag team win, which makes sense as they're the more established team. 2 stars. As always, an easy show to watch as the crowd enjoys being there, and it's fun seeing debuts as well. Nothing special about the bouts. But again, that's not the point of the show. Just another basic level up and nothing more. 5 out of 10. So, all right. Now, I know Bullock's been waiting a good 24-plus hours to get into this. Celtics chat time. And it is, as we talked about, Game 7 of the second round Eastern Conference semifinal series of the NBA playoffs. Michael Bullock's Boston Celtics squaring off against the Philadelphia 76ers. Winner take all, Game 7 from the TD Garden in Boston on Mother's Day, nonetheless. And let's set it up right here and now, gentlemen. Oh, hold on. All right. Jason Tatum gave Boston a long overdue fast start and followed it up with a finish the NBA had never seen before. After struggling in back-to-back games, Jason Tatum erupted for 51 points, the most in a Game 7 in NBA history, and the Boston Celtics defeated the Philadelphia 76ers 112-88 on Mother's Day Sunday to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second consecutive year. One game after missing 14 of his first 15 shots, only to awaken in the fourth quarter in time to save their season, Tatum scored 25 in the back and forth first half and 17 more in Boston's 33-10 third quarter that turned a 3-point lead into a runaway. The Celtics, who lost to the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals last year, will face the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals for the second consecutive season, game one of which will be Wednesday night in Boston. Tatum added 13 rebounds, and Jaylen Brown scored 25 points for Boston, which rallied from a 3-2 deficit in the series to keep alive their hopes for an unprecedented 18th NBA championship. Tatum was subbed out of the game with 3 minutes left to a standing ovation from the crowd, which soon broke out in a "Beat the Heat" chant. Miami beat Boston in 6 games in the 2020 Eastern Finals, and the Celtics took a 7-game series last year. As for Philly, newly crowned NBA MVP Joel Embiid scored 15 points on 5 of 18 shooting, and Tobias Harris scored 19 for Philly. Sixers lose in the conference semifinals for the 3rd straight year and the 5th time in 6 seasons. They have not gotten any farther since reaching the NBA Finals in 2001, despite, quote-unquote, the process, tanking their way to 4 top 3 draft picks in a row, including Embiid. Tatum started 0 for 6 in a Game 5 loss and missed 14 of his first 15 shots overall from the floor in Game 6 before making 4 3-pointers in the final 4-14 to force the decisive 7th game. He picked up right where he left off, scoring Boston's first basket and 11 points in the first quarter, 14 more in the second, and outscoring the Sixers on his own 17-10 in the third. The 33-10 edge in the third quarter was the most lopsided quarter in a Game 7 since at least 1997. Doc Rivers, 6-10 in Game 7s. The 10 defeats are 5 more than any other NBA coach and 3 more than the NHL's Mike Babcock and Bruce Boudreau. His teams are 6-16 in their last 22 chances to close out an opponent in a playoff series. Jason Tatum, the 6th player since 1997 to score 25 points or more in the first half of a 7th game. The last was Luka Doncic, who had 29 against the LA Clippers in the first round of the 2021 playoffs. Paul Pierce scored 26 for the Celtics against Cleveland in the second round in 2008. The 10 points Philadelphia scored were tied for the fewest at any Game 7 quarter in the shot clock era. So break down the box score here for the victorious Boston Celtics. Of course, it was Jason Tatum, 51 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. Jaylen Brown, 25.6 rebounds for him. Malcolm Brogdon, 12 points off the bench. Al Horford, 6 points, 10 rebounds for him. Some of the notable numbers for Philly. Tobias Harris led the way with 19 with 5 rebounds. Maxey had 17. Joel Embiid, 15 points and 8 rebounds. James Harden held to only 9 points, but he did have 7 assists and 6 rebounds. Not a bad game for him. Melton was the contributor off the bench, 7 points and 5 rebounds. Reed had 2 points and 6 rebounds, but that was pretty much it. This will be the most telling of them all, the team numbers. Boston shooting 47% from the field. Philly, 37.3%. 3-point shooting. Boston, 45.5% from 3, including 15 of 33 from 3. Philly was 8 of 37 for about 22%. And then Philly had the only advantage Philly really had was the free throw shooting. 18 of 19, about 95% from the free throw line. Boston was 15 of 18 for 83%. Rebounds, both teams had 7 offensive rebounds apiece. Boston had 36 defensive rebounds. Philly had 30. So overall, 43-37, the rebound edge for Boston. 18-15 in favor of the Celtics when it comes to the assists. Celtics had 7 steals. Sixers had 4. Both teams had 7 blocks. Boston committed only 8 turnovers. Philly committed 14. Philly outscored Boston 14-11 in points off turnovers. Fast break points, 11-6 in favor of Philly. Both teams had 44 points in the paint apiece, 44-44. Celtics committed 13 fouls. Sixers committed 14 fouls. And each team committed 1 technical foul. Both teams committed 1 technical foul. And both teams also committed 1 flagrant foul. Philly's largest lead was 9. Boston's largest lead, 30. So with that, Michael Bullock, I know you've been chomping at the bits for this. Come on in. It's about time I give you your due. Here you go. Second year in a row, your Boston Celtics going back to the Eastern Conference Finals. You get the Miami Heat one more time. And Bullock, your Celtics, one round closer to pulling the Cody Rhodes and finishing the story. How you doing?
Man, I mean, what can you say? I mean, this was just, I mean, and the thing is, Tatum's been hearing it. He's been hearing it obviously since the series with his struggles and basically, and I had a feeling that after the way he performed in that fourth quarter in Game 6, I had a feeling that he was going to go off in Game 7, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, most points ever in a Game 7 of any playoff series, not just in Celtics history, but in NBA history. I mean, my goodness. I mean, that was just an. But the thing is, it wasn't just him. You also had some big plays from Jaylen Brown. And what about defensively? What Al Horford was able to do against the reigning MVP Joel Embiid, and that defense really stepped up and was able to contain them to 86 or 88 points. Yeah, 88 points. I mean, and James Harden only had 9 points, and your MVP only got like 15. That's not going to get it done, but it's also, like I said, it's attributed to that defense. And now, of course, they move on to a date with the Miami Heat, second year in a row, third time in the last 4 years. And they are just a series win away from going back to the NBA Finals. And as Cody Rhodes would say, finish the story. Great win by the Celtics, and yep, the Celtics chat will continue into the NBA, into the Eastern Conference Finals, and of course, I'm pretty sure we'll have that, of course, during Wednesday Night Madness on Wednesday, Fletch. Am I correct?
We will indeed, yes.
All right, just wanted to check up on that. So, but as I give it to you, Fletch, for a quick thought, I mean, all I can say is this Game 7 was about one man, Jason Tatum, and in the moral words of MVP, he was ballin'.
He was certainly balling. That was an incredible performance. Like we said, all-time performance. 51 points in a Game 7. You can't get any better than that. Like you said, in Game 6, he was a man possessed. He definitely wanted to keep the Celtics season alive and did. And then in Game 7, started out wicked hot and everything else. Philly made a run here, kept it really close, but you kind of felt like the game was turning. And that was when, you had that Brown incident where James Harden hit him with an elbow to the face, cut him open, got a flagrant one out of it, and then Boston made that run at the end of the second quarter. Philly was up by double digits at one point, and then Boston came clawing back, got a 3-point lead at halftime, and then after that, the third quarter just exploded, and that was it. Boston was basically, they had enough. They just took it out on Philly, dominated the third, 33-10. Anthony, you alluded to it, and it was over. So, now the Miami Heat comes in the TD Garden on Wednesday night for Game 1, and it's going to be a wild series. So, a couple of years ago in the bubble, Miami got to the finals. Last year, Boston put Miami out in Miami, and now we go back, and this time around, Boston has the home court advantage. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting series. So, and we'll start it on Wednesday night. So, Florio, it's yours.
All right. So let's set the table for the schedule here as far as this conference finals matchup is concerned. As I'm trying to find it here. All right. So here we go. Game 1, TD Garden on Wednesday night. Game 2, it's basically going to be in every other day. It's going to be every other day. There's not going to be any more 3-day gaps or any of that nonsense. So Game 1 will be on Wednesday in TD Garden. Game 2 also at TD Garden on Friday. Game 3 will be on Sunday night in Miami. Game 4 will be next Tuesday night, May 23rd in Miami. If a Game 5 is needed, it will be on Thursday night, May the 25th at TD Garden in Boston. If a Game 6 is needed, it will be on Saturday night, May 27th in Miami. And if a winner-take-all Game 7 is needed, it will be at TD Garden on Memorial Day night. How about that? What a great way to cap off your Memorial Day, friends, if it comes down to it. May 29th, Memorial Day night. And all games will be exclusively on TNT. So if you have TNT, check them all out. The other series, the Western Conference Finals, that will be exclusive to ESPN. So let's just get that out of the way. Great win for the Celtics, and who was the one who said that don't count them out? That was me.
Yes, he did.
I said, hey, they did it to Milwaukee last year, and look what happened. They did it against Philly this year. So now the Celtics are one round closer to, like Cody Rhodes, finishing the story from their magical run from last year. So, and if they are to do that, they will not have to deal with Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, because the Golden State Warriors are gone. So they'll either be, if they do get back to the finals, it will either be against the upstart Denver Nuggets, who would be in the finals for the first time ever, or, gentlemen, do we possibly renew the greatest NBA Finals rivalry of all time for a 13th time? Celtics, Lakers. Whoa. Could happen. It could happen. So, and if it is Lakers, Celtics, it would be for the 13th time that they'll be meeting in the NBA Finals. And first time since 13 years ago in 2010. So we'll see what happens, guys. It's going to be fun. So with that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you Wednesday night. MF, I'm sure the usual start times for the show.
10:30. Yep, 10:30.
10:30 Wednesday, 10:30 Thursday, and I
11 on.
Yeah, we should be back to the normal time on Friday, right?
Yeah, so probably back Friday at 11. Yes.
All right, I'm just checking the schedules here just to make 100% sure. Actually, hold the phone on that one. Actually, no, Rampage is actually starting at 6:30 on Friday, because remember, Heat Celtics game 2.
All right, then 10:30 on Friday.
There you go. So, all right, gentlemen, let's set the table. Wednesday night, 10:30 on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. It's another edition of Wednesday Night Madness, as we will have NXT. We'll also have AEW Dynamite, and we will also have the Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals Game 1 edition of the Celtics chat, as we will recap Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between Michael Bullock's Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. And then on Thursday, 10:30, TXN Sports World, we will recap the XFL Championship game. We will also preview Week 6 of the USFL. And then in the double main event, we will preview the NHL's Conference Finals. And then in the main event, we will preview the NBA's Conference Finals. So that will be on Thursday night for TXN Sports World. And then Friday night, special start time of 10:30. Friday night SmackDown, as we will have, or I should say Cerebral Smack Talk, rather, as we will have AEW Rampage. We will also have Friday night SmackDown, and we will have the Game 2 edition of the Celtics chat. And then next week we do it all again with Ridiculously Raw, the go-home show for Night of Champions. As we'll have that Monday Night Raw. We'll also have my latest Tony's take on... Actually, no. I'm actually going to have a preview of the Impact Wrestling Under Siege special on Impact Plus. I will preview that event next week in a special Tony's take. And then we will also have the Game 3 edition of the Celtics chat to push it off from Sunday to here. So we'll put it on here so we have something here. So, and we'll do it all over again next week. And that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, it's Anthony Florio here for the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF, Michael Fletcher, and of course, the First Lady, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.